If there are two roads available, choose the most adventuresome one. I've done that sort of throughout my life. When I was a little boy, I wanted to be a cowboy. I roughnecked in the oil fields in West Texas. I worked for a lumber company in Oregon. So my jobs as I was growing up were physical and some element of danger or hard work involved. When I got out of the Marine Corps in 1970, I traveled around the world for a year and a half with a Marine Corps friend. So while I have been at times in my life a risk taker, I've tried to always do it with some degree of wisdom and caution. My family had a great deal of influence on me. Really started with my grandfather, Charles Sawyer. He was Roosevelt's ambassador to Belgium and minister to Luxembourg during the Second World War, was Truman's Secretary of Commerce, had been the Lieutenant Governor of Ohio, and actually even before that, the youngest member of Cincinnati City Council when he first got out of law school. He was an incredible influence to me. Charlie Meacham, the first lawyer I worked for at the Taft firm, was a great mentor for me, and it helped me as I've gone along understanding the importance of mentoring young people because of the influence that he as a mentor had on me.
John's been such an important mentor in my life and in many others, and in that regard, he will always be making our city a better place. It's a lasting contribution.
I enlisted in the Marine Corps before we were in Vietnam and thought I was going to be a lawyer in the Marine Corps. Ended up getting the designation as an infantry officer and getting orders to Vietnam. My most important command, and the one that's most meaningful to me and to any Marine infantry officer, is command of a rifle company in combat. That's 220 Marines roughly, and you're responsible for their lives. For those who fight for it, life has a special meaning the protected never know. You believe in God, country, and Corps. You believe in honor, courage, and commitment. Those aren't empty words. You believe that stuff, and you live that stuff, and you live it for the rest of your life, and it's why there are no ex-Marines. From 1971 on, practiced law in 1977, I became a partner in the firm. It had been my grandfather's firm, and that was doubly important. And I continued to practice law until 1984, when I was asked if I would be interested in running the Chamber of Commerce. My first reaction was, why would I do that?
John didn't have to be the head of the chamber. He was at it for almost 20 years. He did a lot to pull this city together. And he did it because he loves to serve. He was born to serve.
What I realized after a couple of years is I loved it. I loved the fact that I had to live by my wits. If I could frame an issue so that I could say, this is what I want you to do, but I want you to do it because if you do that, this is the difference it'll make. It's not for me, it's not for the chamber, it's for the community.
John has been around the Cincinnati scene for a long, long time, but he's always been a great friend to everybody. I don't believe he has any enemies. And, to be in his position at this stage of life, that's rare, and that's unique, and that's special.
If I had to pick just one thing, one undertaking that gives me the greatest pride, it would be issue 1.
To John Williams, it was never just about the stadiums. It was about securing our status as a major league city.
I think when John looks at downtown Cincinnati, he goes, wow, much of what I did over the last 30 years resulted in what I can see.
That drive through the cut in the hill, there's nothing like it. And I think is as grand an entranceway to the downtown and the greater community. I don't think over the Rhine would happen if we didn't have the bank's development. I think it rekindled the importance of the downtown as a place for people to come. I volunteer a few hours every week at the VA, which is an institution I greatly believe in, because as a combat veteran, twice wounded, I think what our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines have given, we have a responsibility to take care of them. And I think on balance, the VA does an extraordinarily good job. Charlie Lucan said to me after I married Francie, he said, "You know, John, you're just different. You smile in a different way. Francie has brought out the very best in you." My wife and I, when I retired, spent a year and a half traveling in a 25-foot Airstream trailer all over North America. We experienced America as America should be experienced. I will be receiving the Great Living Cincinnatian Award 50 years from the date that my grandfather was one of the first 3 recipients. For me to be given this award as his grandson, it's inconceivable. It's a great blessing to me, a great privilege, but it speaks to the way Cincinnati operates, that you keep giving back generation and generation.